Today I'm going to deep fry the turkey, and we're going to show you how to do it. The first thing you do, this is the most important safety precaution you can take, is how to mark the level of the oil you're going to need in the pot so you don't get an overflow. You do it by a simple displacement test. Alright, so we got the pot full, so you can see we got about an inch of water on top of the turkey standing up in the pot the way it's going to be when it's cooking. So now when we take the turkey out, the water level falls, and all I'm going to do is take a piece of tape on the outside and mark where that water line is. That way I know how high to fill it with oil before we cook the turkey. Okay, so the turkey has been washed and I put it on this rack to dry and warm up to room temperature for a few hours before we fry. This is a 13-pound turkey. Unlike when you roast in the oven, you don't want to truss the legs or tuck the wings. You want everything loose so the oil can get around it and fry everything evenly. Obviously nothing in the cavity either, there would be no point. Turkey cooks real quick from all directions. So this will go for a couple hours to come up to room temperature. It's a safety point. You don't want to put a cold bird in the oil. You certainly never want to put a frozen bird in the oil, but having it at room temperature before you go is the best approach. Okay, this is the setup for frying the turkey. You can see I have the propane tank positioned as far away from the burner as the hose allows. It's a big pot. This is not really the newest. Hello, Roxy. Roxy is supervising. Say hello. Anyway, this is not really the newest or necessarily safest turkey fryer you can find on the market. It's okay, but they come with even more stable bases and pots that fit more securely on the burner, but it's fine as long as you're reasonably careful with it. So it's nothing but a big pot. You saw the turkey before sitting on a rack. The turkey on the rack will get lowered into the pot. There is a very simple thermometer which fits down. You can see it has a long probe, and that fits down into the pot. You want the oil at 350 and try to keep it there. There's a bit of a technique to doing that, because when you put that cold bird in the oil you lose a lot of heat, so you have to adjust the flame and get it back up to 350 as fast as you want. This is what we're frying with today. We're going to use 3 gallons of peanut oil. It should take just about 3 gallons to do this. I have a little bit of canola oil in case I need to top it off at all, but it should take just about 3.5 gallons. So let's talk about this bird a little bit. You've probably heard a lot of talk about brining your turkeys. It's a very popular thing to do, and it's actually a very good thing to do. Now this year I've cheated a little bit, and this is a butterball turkey. All a butterball is a turkey that's already been brined at the factory. There's no need to double brine it because it's already been brined. If you get a plain store brand turkey or a heritage turkey or something like that, following a brining recipe for about 24 hours is going to improve the flavor and the moistness of the bird a lot. I'm not going to bother with this one because that would be redundant. It's also traditional when you deep fry a turkey to inject it full of melted butter and spices. This is, at the end of the day, a southern tradition, and it's very common to do that. I've done it before. It comes out great. My family prefers the turkey kind of natural flavored though, so I'm not going to do that this year. Just a note about location. You can see we are a good distance away from the house. I have a stone patio, so it wouldn't matter that much. You never ever do this on a wooden deck. You stay away from overhanging limbs. Do not do it underneath a tree or in the middle of a lawn, far from the house. Because if you have an accident, what's going to happen is the oil will boil over onto the open flame and you will get a fireball. So you do not want to have anything flammable over the pot. And you never ever do this inside a garage. Now, you'll remember at the beginning, I put the turkey in the pot and tested how deep to put the oil. So I marked a piece of tape on the side of the pot. That's roughly how full I want to fill it with oil. If I hit that mark, then when the time comes to put the bird in, it should not overflow the pot if I'm careful. And there you go. Filled with oil just up to the tape mark, ready to light the fire. And we're burning, as you can probably hear. I lit it with one of these long nose lighters. No different from lighting a gas barbecue. You can see the flame going under there. You really want to get the flame ripping. It takes a long time to heat up all that oil unless you're really cranking the heat. So, pretty much on full bore. You can see the thermometer here. What we're looking to do is get that oil up above 350. We'll put the turkey in when it's at 360 to 370, because as soon as we put the turkey in, that temperature is going to drop quickly. And then it'll be a struggle to get the heat back up to 350. So this won't take more than about 10 or 15 minutes. We'll just let it heat up and bring the bird out when it's time to go. That's the sound of water droplets boiling off from inside the pot. We're up to 150 degrees. And we're just about ready to go. The oil is approaching 350. The turkey has been sitting out drying and coming up to room temperature for about 3 hours. That's absolutely fine. It's not going to spoil. It's just minimizing the amount of water that's going to boil up when we put it in the oil. And we're about ready to go. All right, so the oil's about 375. It's time to go. I'm going to turn it up a little bit because it's going to get cold as soon as the turkey goes in. Now the trick is you've got to put the bird in really slow. If you put it in fast, it will boil over. This is going to take a couple minutes. It starts to boil very, very hard. It's going to splatter. You got to wear crappy clothes. Once it's in, you let it go for a minute or two. We'll put the lid on in a second, and then I'll watch the fire until it gets back to 350. And 45 minutes, that's going to be golden brown. You can see why it was so important to check before we started how much oil to put in that pot, because we only got about 2 inches to spare there. If I'd overfilled that pot, it would have been a mess. We had a big fire on our hands. As you can see, I've got the heat regulated to 350 degrees, keeping an eye on it, make sure it doesn't drift much higher or lower than that. We got about another 35 minutes to go. The whole 13-pound turkey is going to take about 45-46 minutes to cook. All right, it's been about 45-46 minutes. I just checked the temperature. The turkey is done. So we're going to turn off the fire all the way. Come up a little closer, Grace. That is the end result. We're going to take it inside, let it rest for about 15-20 minutes before we carve it.